Hey guys, hey, it's me, it's you, and welcome to Conversations from Paris. And if it's your first time on here, I am Paris. Uh, I'm Paris, and this is a platform where we talk about mental health. And the ultimate goal is to break the stigma of mental health in 2022. The fact that we still have a stigma is crazy to me, but to break the stigma about mental health, working on your mental health and how spooky it is. The goal is to make sure that you're informed and through a conversation that you can have a changed perspective, get some type of healing, some type of help, and that we can take all the spookiness out of talking about mental health. Hey, mom, love you. Let's get to it. I'm gonna let a couple more people come in. I'm gonna share a couple of things just because I think this is a good topic to talk about today, and I want to make sure that we are everybody's could see it. I'm transitioning from off of Facebook to just YouTube. I think it's going to be better for the overall growth of the platform. Facebook does limit certain things, but my goal is to make sure everybody can reach me. And one thing with YouTube is that whether or not you have a Facebook page or Instagram, everybody can click on YouTube, whether or not you actually have a YouTube account. So again, I am grateful that you guys are here. If you can't share, because you just don't know who can use this. And you know how I feel. I feel like everybody can use this, right? I feel like there's not a person that can't use it. That's just my personal opinion. Again, conversations have the ability to shift perspectives, and that's the goal, right? A good conversation should shift perspectives. So, I hope that you guys can see me well enough. I don't have my ring light today, but that's okay. I think I'll be fine without it. I think I have enough light. Looking at myself in this image, I think I'm good. But if you guys can't see me or if you can't hear me, please let me know and I will try to adjust it. So because I record this and it is going to be watched, the replay is going to be watched. And listen, if you guys are watching the replay, hey to y'all, and go ahead and let me know that you're watching the replay. Let me remind you, if it's your first time on here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, first of all. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate you checking for me. Subscribe to the channel, first of all. And then I need you to go ahead to make sure you like this live so that the algorithms on YouTube know that you want to see me on here, and that also that you comment and you share. Those are the ways that you can help me out. That's all. And I appreciate that. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put that you're watching the replay so that people are aware, that I'm aware that you're watching. Because sometimes I don't know, and people are like, oh, I watched it. And I'm like, I didn't even know. So I want to make sure I recognize everybody. And I do respond to comments and suggestions and everything. So anyway, so what are we talking about today? If you saw my topic, you're probably like, what is she going to today? Well, y'all know I always got something up my sleeve. Y'all know I'm always slightly controversial. Not to be for controversy's sake. I need you to hear me on that. Like, I'm not the person that likes to stir the pot just for the sake of it. I actually think sometimes stirring the pot is good, because sometimes if we pretend like things are not an issue, then we go ahead and we repress our real feelings and we don't represent them. And so for me, it's important for me to maybe bring out some things that you may not have talked about on your own, or conversations that you don't feel comfortable talking about, or just didn't come up. So that's what we're talking about. So listen, Valentine's Day is the 14th. Yes, that is next week. Can y'all believe that? Valentine's Day is a week from yesterday. So it's next Monday. So let's be real. This weekend is really when a lot of people are going to celebrate for Valentine's Day, right? So that's like, today is Tuesday, like y'all got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, most of y'all got 3 or 4 days to that. And so Valentine's Day used to be a day of anxiety for me. Let me just keep it all real, keep it transparent up in here. Because I think a lot of people won't say that. To them, it sounds horrible. Right now, we're of the tribe of people that shrug everything off. Like, I'm cool. I don't care. It's not a big deal for me. I don't even celebrate that. That's a Hallmark calendar. Nobody cares. And if that's how you feel, kudos. Understand. That's wonderful. But let's be clear, there are a lot of people who really deep down inside, even if they never say it, they do care about Valentine's Day. And it bothers them that they are either what I call, there's like three kind of ways I think people deal with this. I think there are people who are single and really long to have a relationship. So Valentine's Day reminds them that they're single. I think there are the type of people who are in a relationship, but maybe the person they're with is not attentive enough, and maybe they desire a level of attention that they weren't getting, and that Valentine's Day can kind of help that. And then there's the person who not necessarily longs a relationship, but Valentine's Day does bring some feelings up that might they thought were gone. Some feelings that weren't really there. It highlights some things inside of you. And so let's talk about that. That's what I want to talk about. And I know my topic said Valentine's Day up and I don't have a bae. Okay, here's story time. Story time. When it was time for Valentine's Day, we used to be like, oh, we need to hurry up and find, a boyfriend or whatever so that we can go out on a date. Like, yeah, it would be nice if we were in a relationship, but because we were not, let's just get a date. That's all we needed is a Valentine's Day date because we want to do something cute. We want to have a little gift. You want, the idea of Valentine's Day is something that's sold. That image, it gets ingrained in your head, and it really has this emotional pull and this ability to have you long for something that you might have never seen, or you might have seen before, but you didn't know what the totality of the situation was, and therefore it leaves you thinking you're left out. And so this time of year comes and people are like, oh, I'm still single. And it basically reminds them of what they don't have, right? And I'll just say, I'm just gonna come out and say it, y'all. Loneliness comes up during these type of mushy holidays, right? Loneliness, just let's be real. Like, let's call a spade a spade. It's loneliness, right? And nobody wants to say that because it sounds like a pity party. It sounds pitiful in their mind. They don't want to say it. Or it sounds, it just sounds negative, right? And I'm here to let you know there's no judgment here. I have been there. Listen, I'm single right now. Let's talk about it. I'm single. The difference is I might be alone, but I'm not lonely. Let's say that again. I might be alone, but I'm not lonely. And it's two different things. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who believe being alone is equal to being lonely. And that is not true. That's completely not true. I did a live on this once before, but I'm going to go into this again. And then I also, for the sake of your knowledge, just because you are in a relationship don't mean you don't experience loneliness. Sorry, not sorry. You can be in a relationship and experience loneliness, which is why I said that sometimes these holidays, even if you're in a relationship, because I've been in a relationship and then felt lonely when Valentine's Day came up, because it was this idea that this grand gesture of love was supposed to be shown to me. I was going to feel like a princess. I was going to see how they really felt about me. And none of that happened with the current partner I was with. Now, I see a couple of things wrong with that. Number one, I had this expectation of this fantasy idea of what it should look like, which is probably unrealistic. Number two, that person was just not the person for me. Let's just be real. And number three, these feelings came up because unresolved loneliness and unresolved fulfillment issues. Okay. And so, what do you do when you're in that space, right? Like, what do you do when you find yourself dealing with loneliness? Uh, Whether you talk to your girls, you would talk to your guys, you talk to your confidant, you talk to your mama, whoever, or you keep it to yourself. What do you really do, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about like what loneliness looks like, right? What is loneliness? Let's like define it, because I feel like people don't really talk about what it really means, right? So loneliness basically is a feeling of emotional isolation. Okay. It's a feeling of emotional isolation. And it's really not like something that is a quantitative thing you can measure in a companionship or a friendship. Um, it's something that is defined by the quality of it, right? Sometimes you can have 30 really good friends and still feel lonely in the middle of them. I've spoken about this before. You can be in a relationship that appears to be great and that you love each other, and you know that person loves you and you love them and still feel lonely. The reason why loneliness is a big deal is because that's not something that your partner or your friends or the outside world can help you to resolve completely. It is not. Um, there are pieces of it that can be handled by the intimacy of a relationship. However, um, oftentimes, if you are lonely, you were lonely prior to those relationships. And you have to really learn to deal with that feeling of rejection and or isolation that was with you prior to actually like really having the support, right? So the reality is it is a feeling that you are isolated, that you are emotionally distant from the people that are around you. And the holidays, especially Valentine's Day or something, can really bring those like feelings to the forefront, right? So first thing I need you to know, again, this is not uncommon. It's actually quite common. And the reality of it is that people don't talk about it enough, or they joke about it, they minimize it, and they really don't um, deal with these thoughts, right? And so I'm going to give you some coping mechanisms and or what to do when you feel these ways. Okay. Number one, I really want you to deal with your expectations, right? Okay, remember we talked about silent expectations in relationships, and forget about relationships. Let's just talk about expectations of yourself. Um, if you have an expectation in life that you're always supposed to be adorned, you're always supposed to be um, made to feel whole from other people, if you have expectations that you will never go through a moment that you feel kind of by yourself, then unfortunately that's not realistic. And I'm sorry to be a person that comes to seem negative. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to give you a little small dose of reality. There are going to be times, even in the most successful relationships, that you are not going to feel completely supported, that you're not going to feel completely heard, and that you're not going to feel completely understood. So let's sit in that. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Okay, okay, there you go. We breathe. We just breathe through that. Why is that necessary, Paris? It's necessary to process that because if you expect that the way life should be is that you always feel seen, always feel heard, always feel supported, then you always will be disappointed. You will always quite not quite feel like you fit in, right? That you're missing out on something. So the reality is it is quite normal to have moments where you feel alone. Notice that I didn't say lonely. There are times you're going to feel alone and unsupported. And what did I use? kind of isolated, right? Um, the, it is not normal for you to have prolonged moments of feeling lonely, prolonged moments of isolation, emotional isolation. That's not normal. Okay. Especially if you're in a relationship, especially if you have a support system around. That can go into something else and it can very easily lead into depression, right? We need to talk about that. A lot of that can stem from the root of rejection. A lot of that can stem from the root of abandonment. There are a lot of things that it can stem from, but it's not normal to have a prolonged feeling. Will we have fleeting moments of these feelings? Absolutely. It's just the world. Yes. There's nobody going to be with you and always showing how they. You could have somebody in your face 24/7 and still have moments of isolation, emotional isolation, feeling like you're by yourself. It's 100% true. I've been there. In the whole room, people just still feel like I'm in this thing by myself. So I don't think there's a way around that. But if you learn how to understand how to deal with those moments of being alone or feeling lonely, again, those two different things, if you understand what to do in those moments, and you understand that they are temporary, then you'll be able to move forward and really understand that it's not something to grieve, it's not something to blow up, and not to minimize these moments, but to understand that these moments are something that should cause for an alert, right? Yes, if there's a red flag that's going off that is supposed to alert you to something wrong in your life, relationship or otherwise, or if it's just something that's a natural part of life, right? So the first step here is to reset your expectations, okay? It is okay to be alone, feel alone sometimes. It is okay to to feel like something that somebody didn't come through for a moment, that you really are not feeling this love that you want in a moment or support that you want in a moment. That is okay. We all have them. So let's just not have these unrealistic standards that we see on social media, on TV, of what we thought or think it should be. Okay. That's going to give you unnecessary stress and put uh, have you expecting something that is not necessary. Okay, or maybe not even attainable. Right. Number two, make sure that you are connected to a group of people that care and love you. I told you your circle, your tribe is so important. It's it's actually necessary for you to have a group of people who, and this doesn't have to be a big group, but a group of people that you trust and that you can confide in and that you know care about you. And I know some people are saying, "Hey, Paris, I don't have that, so what do I do?" I just believe that you continue to heal and be your authentic self, and you will attract the people that you want to be around. And that's also another thing I tell people, the hard part about this, especially for introverts, is that you have to be friendly in order to attract friends. Sometimes you say you want friends, but everything else about you says, I don't want friends. So we have to be completely aware of how we are showing up, right? Um, some things you can control, some things you can't. But the things that you can't control, you have to be intentional about making relationships. So that's what you want. Let's you work on that, right? So make sure that you stay connected, right? Because sometimes you might be looking for a romantic um, show of affection, and that might not be your current life at that moment. Like I told you, I used to be single, but I'm like, oh, let me go find a babe. So for Valentine's Day, so we can go do something that people do on there. Let's go do some romantic dinner. And in reality, that was just not my real. Um, that was not my real life. And so I honestly did not understand that I didn't need to do that. And I actually learned I actually learned that I find much more fulfillment. Um, I find much more fulfillment just being with people who genuinely love me, right? Genuinely love me and care about me, right? I learned that I didn't need to go manufacture a relationship or a moment to feel good about myself. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that makes sense. And so, so yeah, let's make sure that we stay connected, because then when you stay connected, you have those organic relationships that's already there so that you can go do things with them. Maybe I can't go out on a romantic date, but I can get with my girls and go have dinner, or we can go and have a virtual, like, I don't know, board game party or something. Like, there's so many different things you can do, and that can definitely make you feel connected, loved, and definitely not alone, right? So that's important. Another thing is practicing gratitude, right? The reality of it is a lot of times we don't feel connected, we don't feel integrated, we don't feel celebrated because uh, we don't really look at what we really have and understand um, how to be grateful. Um, and let me be clear, when I talk about gratitude, I don't mean to ignore how you feel or ignore your current situations, but I am saying that sometimes you need to kind of look at what you do have already. If you're feeling a lack of love currently, let's start to look though who you do get love from, right? Like, okay, maybe I'm not getting love in this direction, but I do have friends that love me, I have families that love me, I have neighbors that love me, whatever, I have people in my social life that care about me. So these are important to me. And you know what? I'm sitting here being stressed. Hey, bro, I'm sitting here being stressed about not having this particular show of affection and love when I have it in all these other areas. And sometimes you don't even realize you mistakenly offend people that's in your life when you pout over the fact that you're not getting it from another source. Let me be clear, you still have every right to feel how you do, but if we take an account of what we already have and we practice a little bit of gratitude, then we'll realize that um, you actually are able to have less of those moments, and you'll start to realize that you know it was unnecessary for you to go so low, right? um, to me, that's just something good. The next thing that I would suggest is to really think about where these feelings originated from, right? um, the reality of it is, if there are other feelings behind this, and like I told you, there can be rejection, abandonment, um, all type of traumatic events that's been in your life that's caused you to feel this way. It can be completely straining to your mental health, right? And so then you'll sit here and you're suffering and unproportionally suffering, right? That's what I want to say. I'm not going to say you're suffering for no reason. I'm going to say you're unproportionally suffering, and it really will weigh heavy. And so all the things that I'm suggesting, they're not going to necessarily help because there's something else behind it, which is why y'all know what I'm going to say. Pray about it, talk about it. It's wonderful. But if you got some underlying trauma, underlying things that really are not helping with these tips I'm giving you, therapy. Please go get therapy. You will get the tools that you need to help you to sort through that stuff. Because when you have all the other stuff, then this type of stuff is just a symptom and it's not the root, right? It is not the root. And if you're not careful with emotional isolation, it will spiral out of control into depression. It will spiral out of control into depression and other forms of mental health. It will have you paranoid. It will have you have anxiety. It will have you thinking that nobody cares about you, and none of those things can be true. So it's necessary if you have underlying things that you haven't dealt with, and you've been dealing with this a long time. Like, you have to be honest with yourself. If you feel lonely, 80 plus, I'm gonna give you better. If you feel lonely 65% plus of the time in your life, then something's going on. And we need to talk to somebody about it. You don't have to tell me, but you need to tell somebody. And you really need to deal with a therapist, because that's not normal. I'm not saying you're weird or crazy or nothing like that. I'm saying that I want you to get help. Most people who have, mental health issues, which is not a problem. Remember, I told you that it's really normal. The sad part is they suffer unnecessarily because they won't get the help that they need. They are ashamed of saying something about it and they think this is just some type of life sentence and they have to just deal with it. My God, how many people I see talking about depression that don't even go get help for it? So they just think they have to battle through it and they just Google stuff and they think that they know everything from Googling it and they are suffering. And then I've heard more than one person say, you know what, I finally went to therapy. Oh my God, they've given me some tools to help me out. And it's like if you just go get the help that's made available to you, you can see a change, right? So I just really want you guys not to suffer unnecessarily, right? So here's another thing. I have a couple more tips that I think are going to be helpful. Um, don't get caught up in the hype. Okay, it's one day out of the year. I'm not minimizing if Valentine's Day is important to you, but it's if you think about the whole scope of things, don't allow this moment to make you really feel like don't allow the advertisements, don't allow the Facebook announcements, don't allow all the hype around it to really like play on your emotions. Like, let's be very clear about it. You don't want to, again, put your emotional state, your mental health in this status for the sake of appearances. Okay. Um, it doesn't mean if you get celebrated on Valentine's Day, that doesn't mean one thing versus if you don't. I'm just being honest; it really doesn't. Um, and then listen, let me just tell you what I uh, know for facts about Valentine's Day. That's awesome for me. I make plans. I don't pretend. I make plans. I think it's a cute holiday. It's not a big deal to me anymore, but when it was a big deal to me, I made plans. Let me get my girls together. Let's go have dinner. Let's go. Let me find a cute little, you know, girls' night out thing. Or, when my son was young, let's go do the movies. Let's go see this, get popcorn and go eating something. I planned ahead so that I would not have that time, that head space to be desiring something else, right? I made sure that I um, thought ahead, planned ahead, so that I was not feeling like I didn't have. Okay. So think about what you like to do. It might not be what I said, but whatever you like to do, you need to go ahead and whoever you enjoy being around, right? And if you don't have anybody that you can be around right now, like maybe you just moved, you don't have friends where you're at right now, maybe your family's busy, maybe people are together, that makes you feel lonely because everybody's coupled up and you're the person that's not coupled up. So what? You have to change how you frame your mind after it. Go become part of some group. That's why I tell y'all need hobbies. Most of y'all are bored. Let's talk about it. Most of you are bored because you don't do hobbies. You don't do anything that you like. I ask you what you like. You have no idea. That's sad to me. You have no idea what you like, nothing, you have no desire. And stop telling me the only thing you like is being with another person. Stop. That's whack. Okay? You have to figure out what you like to do. Do you like to paint? Do you like to roller skate? Do you like to dance? Do you like to read books? Like a book, even if you like to read books and things that seem like they're non-social, they're book clubs. If you like museums, there are museum tours you can do on Valentine's Day. Like, yes, your single stuff can go on a museum tour and then go have dinner by yourself. Wow, can you believe that you could actually go have dinner by yourself? Or if that's something that you're not able to do yet, do you know there are actual whole dining clubs? Did you know that? Did you know there are meetup groups that you can get together and meet people that have common interests and get together with them? You don't have to be alone. You don't have to feel lonely. I'm just giving you guys some suggestions. I'm not being harsh. I'm saying this is how you deal with it. This is how, let's have a plan, right? You don't have to sit in this, right? Because sometimes we don't know better because we don't do better because we don't know better. And we're sitting here and we don't know, right? So the reality is to make sure that you're not sitting in this because you have not figured out how to enjoy yourself. If that is an important day for you, make sure you have something to do, okay? And it to me it will how to say this? It will empower you and make you realize that if this day is about love, that you love you and you're celebrating you and you're above, right? I've never been lonely again on one of those days because I'm very clear about my state of singleness and I'm fine with it. And guess what? When you're here in the place where you're good with yourself and good with being alone, you don't have to take no calls from no exes. You don't have to go set up no dates just to be out to go somewhere. You don't have to um, take calls from people in late nights to the hour to do something just to be able to say, I did something for Valentine's Day. And let me be clear again, no judgment. I have done it before. I'm talking on what I know. Let's be better. We know better. When you can grasp this, then you're at a different level and you don't have to sink down to those coping mechanisms, right? They are just coping mechanisms, right? And so I really just want you to feel better with how you um, really deal with these emotions. I'm not saying that you don't have a right to feel how you do. I'm just giving you options so you don't have to feel that way, right? I want y'all to feel good. I don't want you sitting there and all these everybody got a date but me. Everybody got a date. Well, I'm always lonely. You can sit there and do that, but it will not serve you and it will not change anything. Instead, take responsibility for your happiness. Take responsibility for your life. Decide that you're not going to feel sorry for yourself because guess what? You are blessed. You are capable of making decisions, and being alone does not equal loneliness. Okay. So I just really I hope this helps somebody because I feel like um, we try to mull over this and pretend like it doesn't true, but I know plenty of people that suffer silently and is feeling so depressed about this type of stuff. And I'm not upset at you and I'm not judging you. I'm saying I've been there and there's better for you, and maybe something that I gave you, you didn't think about. Maybe a suggestion I gave you, you didn't think about before. So, think about it. Implement some of these. Let me know how it worked out for you. If you guys have some more suggestions, some more things that you think can be helpful, put them in the comments. Listen, because the goal is to help, right? The goal is for us to be better. The goal is for us to grow, to heal, all right, and to live life and be happy about it. That's the goal, right? I understand that's not as simple as it sounds, but if you don't take a step, you'll be stuck. You'll be stuck, and I don't want y'all stuck. We got time to be stuck. Listen, 2022, y'all know it's February 8th. Do y'all know just yesterday it was like December 31st? Like how? Like it's moving fast. Like we're in the year of double double. Okay, this is 222. Like y'all better get with it. This thing ain't moving slow. We're in the year of acceleration. You gonna close your eyes too long, then you gonna be passed by. So if I was you, I would start taking some of these suggestions. Start thinking about this. Stop wasting your energy in these down moments that you have. And if it's something more than just a moment for you, like I said, if it's more than like 65% of your life that you feel lonely, matter of fact, I'm gonna take that back. If you feel lonely more than 50% of your life, go see a therapist. And that's no shade, but you deserve a better life than that. You deserve more. And it's something else at play. You need to figure out what that is. Okay. So I love you guys. I do. I really do. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Listen, do not forget to share this because you know what? You're not the only person that deserves to hear this. There's other people that need to hear it and you don't know who. So just share it with everybody. Just share it with everybody because listen, I wish I had this stuff a couple years ago and it was not anywhere for me to see. So just saying, if it can help somebody, I'm here to do that. So share, subscribe, comment, and like. Let me know what you think. Got any suggestions? Put them in there. These are just a few things I wanted to share. I want you to share some more. I'll come back on Thursday. I'll have a couple of other things I want to talk about. And I got some surprises for you. But y'all go ahead and have a good rest of your evening. And like I always say, you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. I will say it until you actually believe it. Because some of y'all don't believe it. And sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. So I'm gonna tell you you're enough. And in this case, you're enough to love yourself fully enough that you won't feel a lack of love, right? If you realize that you're enough for you, then everybody else will know you're enough. It's a state of mind, right? If you don't believe that you're enough, how can somebody else believe it? But y'all don't want me to preach today. Y'all don't want that. So just take my word, okay? Take my word that you're enough. Start believing it. Start saying it. Look in the mirror and say it. And then we're going to go from there. All right. Love you guys. Have an amazing day. See you. All right. Bye.